Okay, followers. I should have gotten a seat or something. No. It's fine. Babe, what if nobody joins? Hey, girl! Okay, Amanda, I gotta figure out how to fucking do this shit. What up, Carlos? Hey, Nelia! Shut the fuck up. You're so stupid. Request. Hey, what's up? Okay, we're gonna wait till... Oh my gosh, everybody's getting on quickly. I like this. Okay. Medina. Oh, view request. Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a couple people to get on, and then I will put you on. So I don't know if it's going to be... I'm going to answer your request in like 4 minutes. Right? Okay. Everybody hold tight. We just started. I'm so excited. We only are like 3 minutes in. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, 7:01. Okay, girl, you got it, right? We drinking wine out here. We classy. I mean, are you drinking wine? Nelia, don't leave. Bitch, you better not leave. Because I know where you live. I don't know where you live, but I will find you. I know the state. That's all I need. Don't leave yet. Okay, so I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll start. Or should we start now? No, I want to wait till a couple more people get on. Okay. All right. Now we wait. Nelia, don't get off. You better fucking support my shit, and you better support Amanda. Because we're doing Girl Tell Me Something. Now, okay, you know what? This is my spiel. It's very hot in here. I'm in my dad's apartment. It's hot as fuck in here. Okay? Thank you, Nelia. Thank you. It's hot as shit. I don't know if you can see it. This is not a serum, ladies and gentlemen. This is must. What's up, Christine? Hey, girl. Okay, we're going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started. 7:02, like 7:05. 3 minutes in live time feels like a lifetime. It feels like years. Okay, let's see. This is my dad's condo, though. This is a samurai sword. He's not a samurai. He just likes samurai swords. It's a dad thing, you know? Okay. All right. So, there's only 3 people on, though. Okay, all right. For the people that are new, especially Nelia, this is Girl Tell Me Something. I am your host, Nikki Fuego, with Girltellme.com. And today we're going to be talking to Amanda Medina, and we're going to be talking about whatever the fuck she wants to talk about. And we're going to talk about her story and how to know dad isn't a samurai. I know he should be a samurai, but he's not. Could you imagine if my dad was a samurai? Fuck it. All right, hold on. I'm going to add Amanda in. Ooh, girl, gas is real. Hey, girl, what's up? You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Amanda, I'm sorry I brought you in so early and like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I wish I was taller.
No, you're hella cute in those fucking earrings. Put your phone down. Put it down like here.
If you saw my whole setup right here, you wouldn't be asking me that. I got books and stepping stools, and because I wanted my camera up. But yeah, here we are.
I tell you that every time I talk to you on FaceTime or some shit, I'm like, you are so fucking fly. I can't even deal with it. Okay, so do you want to give it another minute or do you want to get started?
Whatever. I don't have there's no script here, you know?
Exactly. This is Girl Tell Me Something. Everybody who just joined, we are meeting with Amanda Medina, the flyest of all fly. I want to hear your story. I want you to talk to everybody about everything, whatever the fuck you want. I know there's certain things you want to... What's up, Korean Adopted? Oh, fun! This is one of your people! Yeah. Okay. So, you know, we want to get started. I want to talk to you. Like, what do you want to talk about? What is something that you want to express. What are you interested? Like, fuck, girl, you know we here. So what you got?
I love you. You're doing such amazing things. I just want to start there because when you launched this series, I was like, in your DM, hi.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
And it's funny because just a few years ago, I would not have done that. I've said that many times. I was not out in the open publicly sharing my story. I was like, what story? I've always been writing my entire poems, letters, little song lyrics. Like, it's how I process. I don't know about you, but because this is a writing platform that you are creating, I'm going to assume that some people can relate. A lot of times I don't even know what my opinion is or what I think of something until I see what I wrote about it when the word came out. So I've always been like, yeah, I guess I have a story. Maybe I'll write a book one day. And I've been like, but really about what, you know? And then a few years ago, I started digging into what really is my story. And girl, I went
dun dun dun.
So to just like kind of the quick version of this is that I was born in Colombia, probably sometime in 1984.
Okay.
Anything about my first 2 years of life. I have paperwork that I don't trust enough to be true to use as my story. And when I was 2 years old, I was brought from Colombia to Sweden. And with that, I lost touch. Yeah, I lost touch with my origin, culture, language, anything that would have been familiar to me when I was a baby. And I was brought to Sweden to a family because this Swedish couple had decided to adopt a baby girl from Colombia.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I grew up, yeah, I'm Swedish. Yeah, I was adopted. I'm fine. Whatever. It's nothing. Nothing really we ever talked about. I had an adopted brother. Knew a few people that were adopted too, but like we never connected on that.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, questions, just a lot.
So I read up on your story, of course, but this is my thing. Did they tell you immediately that you were adopted?
I always knew. I mean, these are little white people in Sweden that like, there's no way we don't look alike.
Brown people in Sweden? What the fuck?
There's some, but that's later. Like, not when I was adopted.
He's like, not enough.
Okay.
So, okay, so my question is, what did you first think when you found out you were adopted? Like, what was, because I can understand, like, from an outside perspective, but I've never been adopted. You know what I mean? So, like, what were your instant or your immediate, like, thoughts when you were told at whatever age that you were adopted?
So that's the thing. I was never told at any age. I always knew. I don't really know how they made that part of my just life always. It's never been hidden. It's never been. So that was, I guess, a good thing, right? It's always just been kind of natural.
Yeah.
But I never understood growing up was the trauma of like losing your mother, your family, that trauma of separation that I didn't know that. And a lot of things that I went through at a young age, and even still today, there's a lot of trauma just coming up. And now today I know what it's about. So I can like, all right, this is what's happening. I can analyze it. I can understand it. I can take control of myself and my story in a way that I never could before, because it wasn't there for me to process and heal or even to own my story. So that's what I'm really big on today since I started sharing my story. Like,
yes, bitch. Yes, that shit.
So where I used to be super private and like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna cause a scene. I'm not gonna, I've always held myself back. So when I see people like you who are like just fucking out there,
just shoot your fucking shot all the time. Never stop.
That is so like, I'm like, yes, you can do that. And it's, people love that. I love that. So that's why I'm drawn to you. And
wow.
Yeah. So
it's easy to think about like starting this platform and then meeting people like you, where I feel like we're just like best friends and we talk and we just, it's just kind of like depending on each other for different things, and there have been times that you have just even like your little DMs or things you've told me, I've been like, fuck, like thank you so much. You have no idea how I was feeling that day or anything like that. So I appreciate you. And I figured, why not use my platform to uplift people? And you are somebody that has came into my life because of this platform, and you have, you have something, and you have a goal, and you have a mission. And I'm excited to be a part of your journey.
Yeah.
So before we get into like what you do and all those things, like what else do you have about, what information do you know? Like, have you found out any more information about anything?
No. So I did a DNA test a few years ago. My husband, when they came out with these DNA tests, he's like, "You don't want to do one?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." Because it
I'd
was
be
like,
so.
he's one of 4 siblings. He's got a ton of cousins, uncles, family all over the world, and he like could not quite wrap his head around how I was like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to do it." But it was a scary thing at the time to like even start digging. You don't know what you're gonna find. You don't know. It's one thing if you have your family, you're like, you know what? Let me find out what else is out there versus like you have nothing and it could like, be anything.
Yeah.
But then I did the DNA test and I've connected with like distant cousins. To some of them.
Really?
But at this point I'm like, we share one drop of blood. I'll take it. Like you're my prima. Like we're primo and prima. And it's like one of them. She actually she was in here. I don't know if she's still in here. My cousin Amy, who's in
So can
Seattle.
I ask you a question? What's up? Shout out to Amy. What's up? What's good, girl? Prima life. Ew, ew. Listen, I have.
In here saying DNA tests are terrifying. She's a fellow adoptee as well and a writer. Yeah, I need to hook you two up.
Yeah, girl, hook us up. But listen though, so okay, from an ignorant standpoint, because I don't know, like, why is it terrifying? Like, is it terrifying because you're afraid of like, what aspects of a DNA test are terrifying for someone who's like completely new to understanding like adoptee life and the whole process? If you could go more into that.
So I think for me, one part of it is just not knowing anything. So am I even going to find anything? Is it going to be that I'm hyping myself up just to be disappointed? Am I going to find family and then they don't want me? So now we're talking second rejection. That happens. How was I even brought into this world? Am I a result of something really terrible? Am I a secret? That's something that happens to many adoptees where, there was an affair. And so the stories abound of what, of what can be scary. And those are a few of the things for sure. And then just like I have friends who are adoptees who are like searching frantically and trying to piece together just the time, the emotional labor and the mental effort that it takes to like literally maybe look for a needle in a haystack, if you even have the haystack, and there might not be a needle in there. So, you know.
Wow.
And this is stuff that people don't, and this is why I talk about this. This is why I share my story on my blog. One part of it is to tell fellow adoptees, hey, you're not alone. Like if you're struggling with any of these things, just know we can talk about it and we can survive it, because it can feel really, it is vulnerable to tell your story.
Yeah.
You don't know what reactions you're going to get. And then number 2 is to say, hey, if you're willing to hear what I have to share and learn of a new perspective on adoption based on lived experience from me and those who share on my blog, then maybe we can spread some awareness. We can spread some information that is good for people to know about.
Yes. And like your cousin just said, it was like, this is why your mission and what you're doing is so fucking important, because people don't really talk about adoptions or adoptee life or how people are actually, affected. And if you really get down to it, like, you had no choice for a long time. It literally was like you were given to this family and it's like, figure it out, and I can only imagine how much of a stressful, like you said, trauma situation that can be, just because like you don't have all your answers answered.
Yeah, or even somewhere maybe to go for answers. Yeah, and what you just said there is so it's so key, and I love you for saying that I had no choice, because that is something that many of us really talk about. And yeah, nobody has a choice to be born or a choice to be adopted, but it's like what I usually say is that the difference between, say, you and me is that if I struggle in the family I was adopted to, like, well, I wasn't supposed to be in that family, and that's
Yeah.
how it's different. And there's there can be a lot of complicated layers to it, and I just want people to know, and hopefully hold space for that.
Well, you are, girl. You holding that space. Look, right,
Oh,
girl, you a ray of sunshine. That's Rachel, my home girl. You are a ray of light. And don't fucking forget that shit. You know, I will tell you. I always tell you the time. This light is not the cutest for me, but you know what? We making it work.
oh, I got a fan going here because it is. Oof. It's
Girl, I'm at my dad's condo right now. There's no fucking air conditioning. Okay, I'm living the life right now. Struggle city, but that's beside the point. So, okay, so I want to hear more about your story, but I guess what are some things as an adoptee that you would want people who aren't aware of the community or things? What would you want them to take away? What would you want them to learn or know about the community that you're building?
I think, well, just you know, I would ask and invite and hope and just plead that people who come in are not just open-minded but open-hearted. Um, because what I talk about, it's not easy. It's heavy stuff. It's
Yeah.
dark stuff. It's not. But there's hope in it too, because I am working through. I am so much stronger today because I'm talking about it, because I'm connecting with fellow adoptees and building this community and platform where adoptees can come and share their story. And I'm launching a podcast next, and there's more to come. I'm not dream small, so there's more coming for sure. Um, so yeah, just listen. Listen with an open heart, because there's so much that you can hear and learn about, and ways that you can help and spread awareness, and just be there for, and whether it's adoptees or not, just in general. That's just how I like to see the world. I love to see when people are supported. I love to support people. I love to just, if I can show up and somehow make you feel a little bit less alone, and where I can really do it is as an adoptee, because that's where my life experience is heavily influenced.
Yeah. Okay. So, question: what are things you hate to hear?
Oh. All right. Oh, aren't you grateful?
What the fuck? People
uh,
ask you that shit?
well, not, yeah, I've heard it, but that's a very big one. That's one of the first.
Amanda, I would fuck some shit up. Listen, girl, don't let us go to the club one night in our Forever 21 dresses and we pull up and I'm like, what's up? This is my adoptee friend Amanda, my homegirl. And they're like, aren't you grateful? We fighting all those motherfuckers.
No, and this is why you're just going to a whole new level in my like cabinet of connections right now. Because no, but a lot of people look. The narrative of adoption is that it's a good thing, right? It's a baby that needs a family, and it's a couple that wants a baby and put the two together, and it's just beautiful for all.
Yeah.
People, that's, so when we talk about it in a negative light, or we talk about it in not even negative, just a true, like, honest light, based on what we've been through, a lot of people are like, oh, but would you rather have been aborted? That's another one, a good one.
Wow, that's fucking impressive.
And there are, you're one of, I don't want to say one of few, but there's a lot of really, like, yo, did you really fucking just say that to me? Like,
Girl, you gotta fuck their ass up. So
so,
then this is my question though. So what is your relationship with she said I'll hold your coats and earrings. See, that's a she can hold my coat and my jumpsuit. Can you hold my Apple Watch?
on my drink.
Watch.
Yeah.
So do you still have a very close relationship with the family that raised you?
I never had a close relationship with the family that raised me.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah,
think
really, had to be a natural family bond or relationship. Um, and again, I'm not the exception there. You know, the more I speak on it, the more I have people reach out to me. Yeah, me too. Thank you for saying that out loud. You know, and there is a whole online community of adoptees where once you're in there, like, yeah.
So you would say more that, and I think it's vital. I think it's so important that you're kind of shedding light on the idea that like adoptee life isn't necessarily super romanticized, right? We have this assumption, especially because I am outside. I'm like, oh my gosh, you must be so happy. Like you're adopted and this is your family. But I think it's so important for you to also talk about the, like, this isn't your you weren't born into this family, and sometimes there is, you know, not friction, but there's not, it's not it's something you have to work at. It's not necessarily an easy transition, because if you always feel like, you know, I wasn't supposed to be here or in whatever thing, like the struggles that come with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I don't say that I don't have a bad relationship. It hasn't been a falling out. I haven't necessarily been like, I will never speak to you again because of a big fight. It's never been a natural bond. And so today I have my own family, my husband, my kids, and I'm working through all these things. And I'm just at a point where I'm like, it's just not natural. It's like a charade in a way. And again, I want to like repeat this because I am not the exception. I know you're hearing from one person here, and it's like, all right, well, cool, you're owning your story. But what about all the other, happy adoptees?
Okay, let me just say,
they're out
this
there.
is the first time I've ever heard, and this is why it's important. I mean, I keep on saying that, but this is the first time I've ever heard somebody who was adopted that was like, nah, shit is not fucking rainbows and unicorns. Like, it's hard. I don't feel like those are my people. And, you know, like, it doesn't work for me naturally. And like, it's not one of those things that I should be, you know, it's not an easy transition. So that's why, like, I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, if we really sit down and think about like just the ideal of adoption, it is hard for everybody, you know? But I guess for me, because I'm so outside of the bubble, I don't really think about the implications and the responsibility and the stress of just transitioning a child into like a family.
And transitioning while also breaking that child away from their natural bond, right? And then somehow gaslight it all with saying, well, it doesn't matter, you got a better life, or, oh, your first mother did that because she loved you so much. Like, that doesn't make sense in a kid's head. Like, she loved me so much, so why didn't she keep, like, there's just so much. We don't have to go into all the details of it, but yeah, like, I'm so grateful that you're giving me this space to even just express this to a completely new audience. This is the first time I'm sort of outside of the safety of adoptee community sharing like this. So
It butt naked in this bitch.
Yeah, here we are.
Let that out, girl. Let it out, because I think it's something that does shed such light on such an important thing, because there are a lot of people that are adopted. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I've thought about adoption. I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids, but I've always thought about the ideal of adoption. And I kind of also too romanticize the idea of like, well, I mean, my kid's going to, like, we're just going to make this work. But there might be issues. There might be like, fuck no, bitch, I don't know who you are. And I'll be like, oh shit, like, okay, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful that you're expanding and that you're talking about this. And it's something that you are passionate about because you experience it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all that to be said, talk about your shit, promote it, let everybody know who doesn't know about it. And I'm going to promote this afterwards.
Again.
But talk about, This Adoptee Life. Talk about how it started, where it came from, like kind of the impact it's had. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever. This is your hour. So whatever you want.
All right, buckle down. Here we go. No, yeah, so like I said, the biggest shift came for me is I lived my whole life being, oh, I don't need to know, I'm fine, whatever. I called myself success story of what an adoption could look like, thinking it had not affected me in the slightest. And then I started taking, I have two daughters, and I had to take them to the doctors. And all of a sudden, I couldn't give the doctor their medical history from my side.
Wow.
Here we go with what happens generation.
What happened? I can't hear you. Oh, okay. I hear you. Listen, it's not me today. It's not me. It's you. It's not me. Ooh, 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 ooh. You know that shit annoys me having fucking trash ass internet.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so you're talking about medical history.
Yeah, so I could reject my needing to know my story, right? That's just for me, and I'd be like, okay, whatever, I can live without that. But now I have two daughters, and all of a sudden, they don't have access to half of their history and origin because I don't have nothing to give them. So that shifted a bit, and then honestly, I started having anxiety. I started having these anger outbursts, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on here?" Like, I'm an analytical person. I don't like to live in anger. I don't like to feel like shit. Who does? But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna like, just let this be. I got to do something about it. So I started digging in my mind. I started writing and analyzing, and I landed back at adoption. And then I joined a group on Facebook. And heard people talking about the trauma and the separation and the all the struggles, and I was like, oh, these people are talking out loud about things that I have carried my entire life but didn't know I could talk about.
Yeah.
And so here we go with the writing. I always wanted to write a blog, and I was like, what do I write about? What do I write about? Adoption? Hell no. But then I was like, no, that is what I need to write about.
What do you mean? Fuck yeah, you write about adoption. Your story,
Not
everything.
back then. No, that was too, whether that was too painful, too scary, too, just too, I hadn't worked through it yet.
Yeah.
So I started the blog thinking, let me just do it. Like, I didn't announce it. I didn't promote it. I just like registered a domain and threw up a post. And then I started an Instagram account and a Facebook account. And I only invited a few like fellow adoptees. So I was like, hey, I'm starting a blog over here. And I didn't put my name on there. My face was not on there. It was This Adoptee Life, just some random adoptee talking about her life. But then I got feedback. I got, adoptees reaching out saying, hey, thank you for sharing this, and thank you for saying this. And I felt like that too. And you're putting words to things I didn't know how to express. And then with that also came me starting to shift how I tell my story. And I was like, listen, this is empowering. This is me owning my story. And I'm not reciting what they gave me in the paperwork. Like, that's BS. It's not my story.
Correct.
Over the years, I've developed a way of telling my story that's true to my experience. And so that's where I was like, I need to offer that same opportunity to fellow adoptees. So, hey, if you're a fellow adoptee and you want to write and try out what it's like to tell your story somewhat publicly with full support of like me and in a safe space of fellow adoptees like coming in and just supporting you, hey, here we are, This Adoptee Life. There's a blog, there's a podcast coming up. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And I put my story out there for anybody who is, needs to hear it. If anything resonates, then the post is for you. The blog post is for you.
I don't know if I've told you this, but you're fucking killing shit. Like, I know we've talked about it and you're like, oh, I don't know. Like, you're fucking killing shit. And what you're doing is so important and you need to keep going. And I know you were talking about the podcast and I'm so happy you're fucking doing it because it's you have such a niche about what you're talking about that nobody fucking talks about. And you need to take that bitch and run. You need to just fucking book it. You need to go on a track and you need to just like, because
it's coming. Big things are coming. And I got to write my book. It's all in here. I just, get that shit down on paper.
It's good. And I mean, just even getting those kind of words of affirmations from people that are like, this has helped me and everything like that. Like, you're already ahead of the game. You're already in a place that you are making that impact. And I know, because you and me are very similar, that sometimes I'll be in a place where I'm like, I don't know if, like, I think about it. I'm like, I will only feel like I've accomplished my goals by hitting this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking house and having this top, you know, whatever. But, you know, when you kind of take it down to a granular level, it's one of those things that, like, you have to understand, Amanda, that you are being the change that you seek. You have already started to make that opportunity for people by giving a platform of, like, allowing people to tell their stories in any way that they see fit. And it's one of those things that, like, I don't know if you heard it today, but you're fucking killing shit.
Thank you. I'm working on this, just receiving and like not being like, okay, whatever. So yeah,
Hard.
going straight into my heart for sure. I'm taking
Really,
it on.
but it's one of those things that, like, I'm just excited for your journey. I'm excited for what's next for you and what you want to do.
Too.
So talk about My Adoptee Life. Like, if people want to contribute, if they want to talk, like, what are things that are coming up? What are things that, you know, what do you guys want? Like,
Yeah.
talk your shit, girl. Talk your shit.
Right now, I am I'm drawn in your work right now. So I'm a translator by profession.
A what?
Fashion translator.
Oh, a translator. Okay. All right. I like that.
It's one of those in the meantime things that I've done now for 15 years. Uh,
Wow.
you know, working on this writing thing to take off.
Yeah.
But you know,
Getting there. You're getting there.
yeah. So I always take submissions on the website. There should be a form. I can put it like in my. So my other account is This Adoptee Life. It's the same handle like here on Instagram. Where if you want to go check that out.
Of course, everybody should go fucking check that shit out. I'll tag you. I got you. You know, I'm always trying to spread the love and shit.
Yes, you are. You do. And that's why like we click, because I'm all about that too. I'm all about, you know, there's enough success, confidence, happiness, all that stuff to go around for all of us. It's not, no need to be stingy, no need to be, you know, gatekeeping anything.
Yeah, open that bitch up. Listen, my homegirl Christine wants to hook you up. Great publisher, Our Galaxy Publishing.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
I don't know if I've linked you guys, but I will do that. She's amazing. So that's another you should be talking to about what, you know, everything. So when people contribute, like, what are the guidelines? Can they write whatever the fuck they want to write about? Do you have certain limitations? I always think
also I only on the blog I only take submissions from adoptees. Like that is the key thing. It is a place where adoptees have the floor, stage, and mic.
Yeah.
So it is for you to tell your, not your adoption story, but your adoptee story, right? Like take ownership.
Great question. Oh, you mean like people who adopt versus people who are actually adopted?
Yeah.
We hear.
This is where you as an adoptee is like, the floor is yours. Here's the mic. Tell your story. In your words, you know, there's no minimum, maximum length. It's like however you feel comfortable, however you feel is the right way for you to tell your story, whether that's in a poem or you actually tell like how you were born here, adopted to there. If you tell about how you struggle with this or that, or, you know, it's completely open for you to take full ownership of your story and trying out what it feels like to just put it out there for other people to read. And
so I had a moment, and I think this question is very important, because when you start your own platform, we always have that one moment, right? And I remember I had somebody send me a story about, okay, I had a woman that wrote a story for Girltellme. And I like to keep in contact with everybody because, like, this is a community. Like, it's not just like a one and done shit. Like, I want to help people out as much as I can, and they should do the same shit for me, right? So after all of that being said, she wrote something, I published it, and then I hit her up maybe like 3 months later, and she told me basically that she was going through a lot because her child committed suicide. And she wrote another piece for Girltellme. It was beautifully written, and I published it. And then, like, maybe a couple months later, she sent me a message and said, you know, like, you were really supportive in the beginning of my journey, and now I have a published book. and we like promoted it as well. But that was the one moment where I was like, this shit is fucking important that I'm doing. So I want to know, do you remember the story, or do you remember something specifically that you were like, fuck, this blog and what I'm doing is bigger than what I've even imagined, or it's bigger than what I could have expected?
Absolutely. So like you said before, right? We have these goals, these like, and when I get here, and I used to say that, I used to be like, um, when I sit on this famous person's talk show couch and talk about this, then I'll be like, okay, accomplished. And then I got a message from somebody who said, and I've gotten more after, but this was like the first one of that kind, that said, I found your blog when I was in a really dark place and it saved my life.
Wow.
To get to read what you share, and or whether it was the blog or Instagram account, like I found you and what you're doing. So yeah, I was like, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than, um, like you said, anything I could have imagined. I didn't set out to. I didn't even set out to create a community, to be honest with you. I set out to just try out what it's like to tell my story, what it's like to just put, maybe I'll throw a few posts up there, have something to work on, working on a book one day, because let's just see where it goes. And that's how I've always been, very impulsive, very impatient. Right? It's always like with this urgency. I have an idea. Okay, I got to do it right now. Like, okay, register the domain, throw up a blog post, typos and all. I don't care. Like, it's just the message is there, get it out.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning. Like I commented on your post today, which I loved. Like, slow the fuck down. Like, it's okay. Shit will happen in due time. And I keep working on my goal, but little by little. And so messages like that has definitely been a big part of just, it's happening. It's
Yeah.
what I set out to do, but shit, if it's not even better or freaking amazing, like, yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing that, like, I mean, I do look at things and I look at situations, and like, I jumped out on this platform and was like, fuck it, like, let's just see what we can do. And it's amazing to be able to link with such inspiring people, and to kind of have the opportunity to be like, I mean, Amanda, you literally just jumped out there and said, fuck it. And like, you don't even know it, but you're saving lives, and you're creating an atmosphere of people who just want to tell their story in a specific niche.
Yeah.
Of, yeah. And it's, I don't know, I never will get over the idea that, like, this shit happens. Like, I started this platform and I meet fucking amazing women like you, and I don't know, that's just crazy to me. Like, it's really fucking crazy, because I think, like, I didn't really think I would be doing these things. I didn't think that it would turn into this thing. And then when it does, I'm like, fuck. Like, now there's a responsibility, now there is something that, like, you want to promote people, you want to promote a mission, you want to promote something. And I mean, I really just feel this is like woo woo, but I feel blessed to, like, be able to meet people like you, and to have an opportunity to be able to promote what you're doing. And this is just as fulfilling for me as it is for you. That's all. I'm talking a lot of shit. I be going in circles, girl, but you know what I mean.
Because I can relate to all of it. And what I want to add to that is, I'm really big on saying, find your people in the world. Like, that is what's going to make life just a little more easy, because life, it goes up and down. Sometimes we got good days, sometimes we got bad days, but that's just life. Like, it goes back and forth and up and down and in and out, and, light to dark. And so I think, and how do we find our people in the world? Because they might not be your family. They might not be your closest friends, because that's the people that are in your close proximity based on where you happen to either be born or adopted to or have moved to. So you got to speak your truth, right? And that sounds big. It sounds big and small at the same time, but it's like little pieces and snippets here and there. And you're going to see people who are like, Yeah, me too. Over here. And that's how you connect. And that's what's happening here. Like, I'm out here speaking my truth. You're out here speaking your truth. And look at us. We're in the live and we're speaking our truth too. More people, yeah, we can be like, hey, yeah, I heard what you said. And, you know, and when you find your people in the world, I think that's where, you know, you can build confidence. You can, you know, you've got that cushion of, well, fuck what everybody else think. I don't need them. I got my, you know.
Shoot your motherfucking shot all the time. You know that's my biggest thing.
And with the real connection, it doesn't matter. I mean, we go what, 3 months back? You know, way back.
Yeah.
But
3 months nowadays is like fucking years.
yeah, but we're connecting, you know, because it's like you're putting you out there, I'm putting me out there. And
yeah, I get it. So do you want to talk more about the podcast or do you not want to go into it?
The podcast is in the making. I've got a line of people who I'm going to start recording those episodes and get it out there. It's just, you know, right now it's summer break. So kids are home. I kicked them out today with my husband. I was like, here, I need some peace and quiet. Go.
I got shit to do. I got shit to do.
I was like, why are you still here? My life starts in 10 minutes. But no, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, good. I'm going to hold you to that because
the first podcast I'm launching is in direct relationship to This Adoptee Life.
Okay, good.
But it might be a little bit broader in terms of who gets to come on and speak, and we'll see. So,
do you typically do just adoptee life and like people telling their story, or like you said, are you going to be more broad with adoption?
So it's only been adoptees up until now. But I'm at a point in my life where I feel comfortable branching out, and I think it's important to branch out and not just stay in your bubble. So I'll keep you posted. That's where we're at right now.
No, I'm excited about it. I hope you like when you launch it, let me know because I would love to promote it. I think it's great. I think even to just people telling their stories from like a one-on-one perspective, not even writing, just because sometimes through a podcast you can get so much more emotion and just like the effects and just the outcome and just all types of feelings from talking about it. So I think that would be great. I'm excited about it. When you told me about it, I was like, get that shit
done. And I think a lot. So me being a writer, I think I always thought it was safer to write. But I've noticed once I started, because I've done lives on This Adoptee Life, and the blog is kind of hard to get people to want to write. But hey, I'm gonna do a live. Anybody want to join me? I got however many messages like, yeah, I would love to. And so I think a lot of people like to share their story that way as well. So that's why I'm bringing it as well.
Writing is beautiful. It's done so many different ways. There's so much like type of varieties, but sometimes I can't write fuck and you understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
On with the hand and the face.
Fuck.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so what is something else that you think? Okay, so I think about things that people would ask me, and I like to answer certain questions just because I would want them to but what is the final goal for This Adoptee Life? Do you want to see it become like just the community of what it's building, or like do you want to do speaking it? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what does Amanda want to do with her community?
So yeah, I mean, the end goal, I just want to grow it and be a community for anybody who needs it, and definitely want to do speaking. I mean, I am a person who just loves to motivate and encourage others. So I have the adoptee part of it, but I'm also definitely want to do like speaking gigs and write books and just be out there and like, share from my life, because the adoption part is one, and then I got other shit too that I can share from my life. Different book. That's a different, so yeah, I think
that's another
grow as it, naturally will grow, and I'm just I'm now starting to look at it more like, I don't want to say brand, but like
it's a brand.
Yeah. I guess it is.
It's your brand. Girl, you better own that shit.
Yeah.
Put that shit in your pocket.
There it goes. Yeah.
Yours. So, okay, now because I'm being nosy.
Yeah, go for it.
What is your final goal with your adoption story? Do you want to meet your sorry, that's ignorant. Do you want to meet your biological?
My first family, I call them.
Forgive me. Do you want to meet your first family? Do you want to talk to them? Do you want to learn about them? Or is it kind of like, because you built your own family, you don't have necessarily as much a desire to do so?
I go back and forth on that. I think
That's a real nice answer.
Yeah, I think part of it is because I would, well, so depending on what I would find, let's start there. If it was good, like in the dream scenario of like being able to find them, being able to reunite with them, having good relationship with them. I do speak Spanish, so I got that going for me that I could actually communicate without needing an interpreter.
Okay, hold up real quick before you go into that. So you were raised in Sweden.
Yeah. But I lived in Spain for 1 year when I was 16.
Okay, because I was like, were they talking to you in Spanish? Like, how old were you when you were adopted? Forgive me.
About to.
Okay, so when they raised you, it was predominantly English?
No, Swedish. Swedish.
So you can speak like 3 languages? Damn, bitch, you classy!
That's as translator.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so, okay, now I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said in the realistic perspective, you would want to learn about your adopted parents, or
in the ideal, like let's say like in the ideal scenario of everything going the right way, I would love for my daughters to get to see where they come from. Like it's really more about and the same goes for like my healing journey and me digging into everything and just kind of trying to heal and grow and find that inner peace and safety so that I can be the mother that they need, so that I can show up in the world like more stable and not so confused and lonely and struggling with, like I said, anxiety and anger outbursts and stuff like that. And then in terms of searching, I think it's more about, I think I could live without it and be okay, but I would like for them to, if they could, because right now it's kind of in between where I don't have connection with either. So it's like I'm kind of alone by myself on this little island here with no bridge in either direction towards my adopted family or my first family. So,
wow. How do they feel about your feelings?
they're still so young that we haven't spoken a whole lot about it. It's more factual still, where it's like, I don't really know my birthday and I was born here and
I don't even fucking think about shit like that. What the fuck? You're blowing my mind right now. Amanda, I dead ass don't even think about things like that.
yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which, and again, like to me, I think I've normalized so much throughout the years that I've minimized my own situation a lot, where it's like, well, I guess whatever. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like, that's a big fucking deal. Like,
yeah, girl, you better maximize that shit. You better make that bitch a fucking 2XL.
Yeah.
And put that shit on.
Yeah, no, that's no, like, that's no small thing.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, but it is such a privilege for me. Like, I know when I was born.
Yeah.
You know?
That is what's normal. That is how it should be, right? So it's not like that should be propped up. If anything, it's more like the opposite should be like, oh, really, that's so crazy, right?
But I would never even think about that. That is, so how about your adopted brother? Are you guys very close? Do you guys have the same sentiments, or?
No, we never spoke on adoption. We never connected on that. And and I don't have much contact, if any, with him today. And again, same thing there. It's not that we had a falling out. It just naturally, like, just didn't stay in touch.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think maybe what's a little bit different or unique with my situation is that I've sort of released all the guilt that I felt around that, where I'm like, it's okay. It's not on me to have
Girl,
to show
that
up.
shit on you.
Yeah, but that's a big thing for many adoptees, that they feel very guilty, and things become a trauma response where it's like, oh, it's all on me. Can you hear that car alarm? It's so annoying.
Girl, where you at?
In the city, in a city, in the U.S.
Hey, city.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, that's for you.
To my story, we could promote things and shit like that, but like you've expanded my motherfucking mind tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk
And
more.
it's not just this one girl. Because for real, like I don't even think about things like that. I couldn't even grasp that. But I can only imagine how sometimes I can feel so lonely, and that makes me sad because you really didn't have a say in the first couple years of your life.
Yeah.
And
And I think, again, like, nobody does, but then the difference is that we have to be careful not to just tell, oh, but you should feel this way, or why don't you feel that way?
yeah, that's fucking bullshit.
Like, your life is better because XYZ. Like, no, it's just different, because I don't know where my life would have been today. Like, I'm grateful for what I have. Don't get me wrong. I can own that. I can be a lot of things, but I don't have to be grateful for having been adopted, for having been ripped from my natural environment. And you take a flower and try to replant it, and it's not gonna do as well. There are roots.
That's so true. Wow.
Yeah.
I could talk to you for like hours on this because every time you say something, I'm like,
Girl,
I never thought about. Like I really didn't think about like the implications or the changes that happen when you are put into a family that you weren't naturally born into.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's without talking about whether or not adoption should exist, what's good, what's bad. Like, that's just me sharing what's my experience, and hopefully people can hear that, like I said, with an open heart. And I know I can't speak for anybody else, but I can say as a fact that I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the exception. So if
No,
you're hearing
and
me,
you
then
also see that from the community.
a lot of others like me as well.
I mean, shit, you jumped out there. There's so many people that are like, nah, this isn't fucking stuff that is stressful and it's worrisome and I feel a type of way. So it's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's fucking. Well, girl, we finishing out, but what you got to talk about? What you want to talk about? We got like 5 more minutes. Talk that shit. You want to promote something? You wanna ask me a question? What you got? You don't ask me a question. You already know. You already.
You're lucky, because I suck. When I'm put on the spot, I go like blank. Like, I have a lot to say always, but then when you ask me to say something, I'll be like, huh? No, I ain't got nothing for you.
Amanda, last couple minutes, you got to plug your shit, girl. Plug it.
Well, follow me. Come join me on This Adoptee Life. I guess just start there. Read my story. Reach out to me. I'm here to talk with anybody. Like, the platform is for adoptees, but it's also for anybody who is willing to hear, who's willing to learn, who's willing to listen. So,
yeah,
find me. Reach out.
I like it.
And then I'm on here on Instagram too as Real Amanda, where I put some of my writing, I put some of my lighter side, the sunshine and the rainbows and unicorns. But even there,
Very good aura about you. It's like
it is. So it's good and bad, and I feel like I can motivate and inspire both on my best days and my worst days. So,
damn, Amanda, you just expanded my brain tonight.
I love it.
You got a new
To expanding, because not everybody is. That's not, again, that's not, maybe to you it's like, yeah, of course I would, but a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would be like, no, I ain't trying to hear that. You can't change my mind on this.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate This Adoptee Life. I appreciate that people came on here and supported you. They love you.
I've seen you.
Because you give such a good vibe and such a good aura, and what you're doing is important.
So I'll keep doing it.
I know, right? It's all fun. Korean Adopted has been in this motherfucker. And I appreciate you. Well, girl, you got nothing else to say?
I'm done.
I'm about to go to Red Lobster and fuck up some biscuits.
Finish
for real.
wine. I wish I could have some. I got more work to do. Goodness gracious.
Oh, shit. All right, we'll cut it in half and then drink some wine.
Got it.
Okay, I'll connect with you after this. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of Girl Tell Me Something. I hope you left with something. I know I fucking did. This was amazing. Amanda, I'll put all her information on my page so you can check her out, learn about her, support her shit. Girl, you got merch? She gonna get merch next year.
Right. Let me show you one thing. I do sell one thing on my website.
What you sell?
I call it an.
Oh, I saw you made that. It's beautiful. Okay, listen. Support her shit, buy her shit, follow her shit, and don't think twice about it. It's amazing. I don't know how much that is, but it's enough. How much is it?
$10.
$10. Support her shit. That's a cup of coffee. Don't play with your girl. Amanda, you are beautiful. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with me, and I will hit you up later.
Thank you for giving me the space, for giving me the opportunity.
Oh my God. Duh, shut up. You know that.
All love.
Okay, amazing. Bye, guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Girl, tell me something, 7 o'clock. Boop.